Hi, hello, and welcome. I'm Thomas. This is Wonder of Existence. As always, I've got Mike and here with me, and this is the second part of the episode related to emotions. So, in the last episode, we discussed what the emotions are, how we treat them, how we feel them, where they come from. I mean, we said we try to let's say analyze or find the reason what it is or where it comes from, all those impulses and etc. But this time we would like to most likely focus on the effect of the emotions and how we deal with them. Yeah, and when the camera was off, we were talking about some emotions coming when we play football, and I used my personal reason for being angry at some other player, and that's how we started to have this discussion. So let's carry on now with the audience watching us, and so the question is how to control the emotions. How can I, when I feel the impulse to blow up and I just feel like I need to shut out and you know I need to throw everything what I feel now against some person on the football pitch. Although I have nothing against him, it's just the impulse, it's just this moment, the very moment when I feel like, no, I'm going to tell you everything I have in my head now. But I know that when I do it, it's not right, that's first thing. And secondly, when I'm done, most likely I feel guilty. I feel like, shit, I shouldn't have said that. No, it's my fault. No, okay, I'm guilty. And then it takes me hours or even days to clear my mind and go back to normal way of thinking. So how do you cope? Because here, maybe let's start with you, because you are such a great thinker in terms of controlling of your emotions. And can you say how you deal with emotions?
Emotions, I think controlling it's not the thing that needs to be done. It's understanding the emotion will make the control, in fact. So it will change the emotion then. But first, Thomas, you have to be proud of yourself that you're on your age. Most men did not. They just stopped playing football because they didn't like the emotions they had on this. So they stopped playing football. And then you'd think you have not those emotions. You're in the pub or you drink beer and you're friendly, but playing, well, you play football on your age and you enter the area of these real shaming emotions for yourself. Well, you have to be proud of it that you're an investigator of this part of the emotion. And the first thing that's an emotion about these emotions is I want to control them. But the first step is, well, accept these emotions and study them. And they will, well, it's like the dragon in the old myths. If you, the only way to beat the dragon is to look him in the eyes. And you have to look these emotions in their eyes and just accept them.
So you have to
face them and well, just let them happen and be glad because you can study them only on the moment they come up. So that's the first step.
Let me just do a very short off topic. The ayahuasca just came to my head. Why? Because people who manage to take ayahuasca, to go through this ritual, they claim that whatever comes to you is all those hidden problems you have or emotions which are taken out of the deep corners of your soul or your deep corner of your existence, and they are shown to you in front of you, and you have to face them. So all kind of fears, all kind of problems, all kind of negative emotions or creatures or demons, whatever you have in your head, they pop up immediately, and you have to sort of maybe not fight against them, but basically deal with them. And only if you capable of dealing with that, then you sort of can carry on, and that's a sort of cure for yourself. Once you finish this ritual, you don't have those emotions anymore, those hidden threats somewhere over there which were killing you or itching you day by day. So this is a off topic, but it's related.
It's making concrete this thing.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that the feeling that you want to have a result immediately.
Mm.
It's also a youthly. You told it last time about the little children who are hungry and they just cry till the milk comes, the mother milk comes. So, and then you see a change in but it stays until the end of your life that you want, in fact, the immediate result. That's an emotion too. You want, and without too much work.
Mm.
So we have to always to deal with that laziness. Everybody is, especially the people who work very hard. Most of the time they are lazy in dealing with their emotions, because they are addicted to their work. Why? Because they don't want the feeling, the doubt about what is it really important what I do? Is it only ego? They don't want to deal with those emotions.
Just simply dive into the workflow, just cover up everything else,
yeah,
and
they
just
don't.
focus on
They're too lazy. I think I dare to call it laziness, because everybody has it, that laziness in not working on those emotions. About emotions. Most of the emotions are about other emotions we are ashamed of, like this example of the football example.
Mm.
And so everybody has these emotions about emotions, and your first thing you have to accept is that it costs time to deal with them. Make a diary. Write the emotion down and study it. And if you're really shaming about it, well, every day I have to write about these emotions, one page. I hate writing, but I am so ashamed that I want to write every day about it. And then you will see after 3 months the emotion changed. If you want to work on it, and not working on by controlling it, but just writing it, except describing the emotion, what happens, that makes the change of the emotion, I think.
So it's a sort of procedure of facing them, because you're writing them down, you're touching them.
Writing down is just a possibility. You can write songs about it. You can paint.
But you're acknowledging them.
Mm.
And by acknowledging them, you're starting to understand them. You're understanding that they exist, and you're interested in them. By acknowledging them is something that's going to eventually get you to understand them and not be controlled by them.
But do you think that, look, everyone's different, right? You behave slightly different, and the same goes for me. And if I behave in particular way, let's say I react, instinctively, like quickly, immediately, doesn't mean that I need to change it.
It doesn't know.
No.
No, maybe a little bit, not change it.
Accept it first. To accept it.
So, because
it's not.
Some people tell you, oh, you reacted this way, come on, shame on you. But who are you to tell me how I should be behaving? And do we have any sort of norms, like publicly known norms? Like
we have society norms, yes.
Of course, we don't shout on the street, right? If you shout too loud, then the police comes, right? So we got some norms, established norms. But on the private level, if I behave, let's say if I'm talking to you right now this way, then what would you say? If I start saying very loudly, right?
Yeah.
It's a sort of
or punching me if you have another opinion on things.
Yeah, or shouting, come on, you're saying something.
Fool, you bloody fool.
Yeah. So is this something wrong? How should we define what's good and bad in this case.
Yeah, we have a tool for it. Conscience. That's the word, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a tool. But you have to work on conscience. You know, you have to, you feel what is right and what is wrong.
It's all connected, isn't it? Conscience, emotion, feeling, and a purpose, self-knowledge. I didn't thought that as well, but it's gone.
But if you don't know why you have to be, why you have to develop conscience, if you don't know why, because you think everything is atoms, we are atoms, and emotion is only caused by hormones and or other activities there. If you believe that, then it's not necessary. Then you have a problem with meaning of the purpose of developing conscience. It's not necessary then. So you get a problem then. You have the conscience, I think everybody has it. But if you're doubting the purpose of developing it, well, then you get a problem. And then what do we do if you have a problem? We drink too much, or we enter drugs, or we work hard, or we have all those addiction things, or I don't want to work on it.
I had some conversations with my ex about this sort of thing, and she says, the trouble with you don't open up about your problems or something, you know, or your emotions. You don't, typical man who doesn't open up enough. I said, well, yeah, that's just a communication thing. I don't feel, because I'm busy with it myself. I don't need to share it out there. Yeah, but sharing helps. Well, not necessarily. You know, why would I share it if I can deal with it myself? The interest, the enthusiasm is in dealing with it myself and understanding it and exploring it myself. Yeah, she said, you never make mistakes, do you? I said, I make tons of mistakes. I just don't beat myself up about it.
Yeah, that's
you know, and that is one of the if she makes mistakes, the first thing she does is tell everybody she's made a mistake, and then feels really guilty, and then wants a sort of help and a pat on the shoulder for opening up about her mistakes, instead of just dealing with them and making sure she didn't want to do those mistakes again. I'm happy making mistakes and then dealing with them by being, I made a mistake, that's interesting. Why is that?
But you both make mistakes, as all of us. The only difference is the reaction.
It's the only reaction about it. Yeah, and I make mistakes all over the place. I've done some stupid things in my life. Also overreacted to things as well. And but I've always found that I've even let myself be controlled by emotions, because that's another experience as well.
Yeah.
To give yourself over to emotion and see what it is. And I've always, since I've been writing songs, I've always thought, well, this is interesting. I can't explore this emotion if I don't feel it. And even though I'm feeling it only half, because I'm not completely in it, because I'm not ruled by it, I'm letting it take over for a little while. And then I can say, okay, stop now, go away, and then write a song about it, you know. So I felt sadness. I went through a depressing sort of depression. It wasn't really a depression. It was like a self-indulgence. It was called when a girlfriend left me in England before I came to Amsterdam.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was in that warm bath of self-indulgence for 6 months.
I was
Self-pity.
so strong. It was so strong that you thought, like, okay, shall I finish myself?
No, it wasn't really that
wasn't
strong.
that's
I let it go. I let it take over me to a certain point. But at the same time, I knew I was just doing it. It was just like, I need to feel this emotion. It's good. It's just like a warm bath. It's healing. You give everybody else the blame. You know, you can drink a beer and weep over it, you know, and that sort of thing, and feel really down. It's enjoyable. It's really, I mean, some people are addicted to it. That's right. Really addicted to it.
Strong peaks of emotions, you mean?
Yeah, they love it. It makes them feel alive. Well, this one sort of, it was just something that, well, I'm probably too smart to ever feel deep depression. So this is a good chance. It's a good excuse to feel deep depression. Oh, woe is me, my girlfriend left me, you know. Well, all the time I'm thinking, when this is over, when I want it to be over, all I have to do to stop it is find another girlfriend and I'll forget her. And it'll all be gone. And I'll be happy again and in love, you know, that sort of thing. I know the answer to it, but I wanted to do that so I would have something to write about later. So I understand the emotion. And I've done that with other things. Experience fear, put myself in a fearful position just so I can understand fear, so I can know it, but also know how to get over it for myself, but also how to write about it, because I like writing. It's great, you can't write about things that you don't really know them. It's all abstract. So there's lots of ways to get out of it, but being interested in it, for whatever reason, is the best way to deal with it, because you stand away from yourself. So you see yourself, I'm in this emotion, blah, 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 whatever. Okay, step out yourself, and now look at yourself from a very calm individual sort of higher self. You can put yourself into that position and look at it and say, well, you're a bit pathetic. What are you doing, you know? And come on, it's going on a bit long now, isn't it? Get yourself together, or if it's a positive emotion, even, how old are you? You know, you can ask these questions, but you're viewing yourself, and what you're doing is you're not feeling that emotion anymore. You're seeing it experienced by this other individual that is you.
The dealing with those emotions is partly all religious systems have some sort of dealing with that, and have strong rituals to deal with the emotions. Mm-hmm. And now, since we've been left by the gods, we have to do it ourselves. So what happened in the churches or in other temples earlier days, we have to build our own temples, churches here, as a human contact. And those are the new holy places. Yeah. If you talk about emotions and try to find ways to deal with it, because every emotion has another possibility to deal with it. You can't say you have to deal it in that way. No. But there are people who have studied it, just let it for 6 months come an emotion to me. My girlfriend left me. Now, you can study it, and then you have people when they are 60 years old, they can talk about it. And lots of people did. Although I don't know anything about it. What should you do? You're dull. They told me you're a dull person. When I was 20 years old, I tried to not to be interested in sex when I was 20 years old. You're a dull person, and I didn't drink. Oh, I thought, it's possible. But I didn't. I didn't panic about not belonging to the group. We had other. So I just dropped out and tried to look for what I was really into, what my feelings were directing me at. So I think it's not the dealing with the emotions is not new, but we have to explore them ourselves. We have to. We have no directions of preachers or that sort of types in churches, communities. You have to do it yourself.
Which is a very exciting thing to do.
It's an exciting study, yeah. But it's not on university.
Well, for some people, it's very feeble.
Yeah. you can be a preacher on the university, theology
Mhm.
studies, but this is not on universities. This is new.
Yeah.
So, well, maybe we can start it.
I've got a master's degree myself. Give me a job.
Yeah.
Thank you very much again, gentlemen. It's always a pleasure for me to deal with you. And thank you, our viewers, and see you next time.
Thank you, cameras, for
For having us.
having us.